Hey, 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 and welcome you guys to this video where we are going to be talking about relationships, okay? How they affect you, how do you pull the right things in, how do you stop pulling in the wrong things, right? Because we've all had those relationships that are amazing, and they're beautiful, and they're fun, and everything in them feels like light and fluffy, and like, it's like dating somebody, right? When you first start dating, it's all exciting, and it's like, this like, oh my gosh, I just love everything about this person, they're so great. Like, you're infatuated with these relationships. And then it gets to a point where you're like, this person's driving me crazy, they're annoying, and right? And the problem is that both of these things get a result, okay? And most people are not aware of this. So I've created a super awesome worksheet for you. Also, it is gonna be a tool that is in this module. So you can also, if you're working with a client and you don't wanna have to re-watch this entire video, you can go download the worksheet there as well, and you can work through this with the client. But before you go use it as a tool on a client, you have to really understand what you're doing. And so make sure you watch this entire video. I promise you are gonna have some major ahas around the relationships in your life, which once again, I mentioned it earlier in this module, but you guys, every opportunity that you could possibly get is going to have another human being involved. Let me say that again. Every single opportunity, okay? Every single one, whether it's a collaboration, a partnership, friendship, right? Whether it's to help you get clients, right? Like a joint venture, whatever it is, every single opportunity comes from another person, okay? Everything comes from people. You cannot, everything you've bought, you couldn't buy anything without somebody, right? Because a lot of people go into making one product. This whiteboard right here, there were a lot of people that had to exist to make this happen, okay? And so I want you to understand everything is affected by your relationships. Everything, okay? And so I'm gonna talk about your relationship with people today, but you could also do these things with your relationship with time, your relationship with money, okay? You could definitely go there. We are talking about people because everything comes from people. Okay, cool, great. People are opportunities. It's not a bad thing, it's a real thing. You're an opportunity for all the people around you to get better, to raise their vibrations, right? So let's dive in. If you haven't printed the worksheet, stop the video, go print the worksheet. All right, let's start. So you all have a worksheet. It looks something like this, right? It looks something like this. So I'm gonna do it on this whiteboard for you guys, but I want you to do it with me as we do this. This is not a worksheet that I want you to save for later. I want you to do it right now so that you get all the examples, get to brainstorm out loud with us, right? I want you to help and do this out loud. So what we're gonna do is on your paper, there is a person in each section, okay? So super simple, a person in each section. We'll call this person, you get to name them, okay? I'm not naming them, you get to name them. We'll call this person 1, person 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you are going to write down 8 different people's names. Now, who are you writing down? I want you to write down the people that you hang out with or see or influence you the most, okay? This does not mean the people who you wish you hung out with. This is the people who you actually hang out with, okay? These are the people that are around you and surrounding you right now. They always say you're like the 5 people you hang out with. Cool, 5? And then keep going, do a few more, right? So who are the 8 people that you surround yourself with and that influence your life the most? You talk to these people more than you talk to anybody else. You hear from them, you talk to them, you learn, you know about them, right? You see the good and the bad sides of them, right? Write it down. Write their names down, okay? Then what I want you to do is I'm gonna use a red and a green marker for this. You don't need to. Just go along with it as you go, but it's just so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Here's the thing. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to write down qualities of each person. So I'll start with person number 1. So person number 1 is name 1, right? And the first person, let's say this person, you're thinking of this person, how would you describe this person, right? So it might be like loving, kind, beautiful, right? And you can describe them however you want, positive or negative, right? It might be annoying, frustrating, needy, right? And you're just gonna fill in 5 to 10 different words that describe this person. And you're not doing it in positive or negative, right? You're literally just doing any of the words that come to you first. So the next person might be like annoying. They might be inspiring. They might seem fake, like maybe they seem fake. Right? Okay, cool. So you fill that person in. Fill in person numero dos. Okay? Then you go to the next person. Now this person might be, let's see, loud, obnoxious. They might be kind though. Yeah, we like them, they're kind. They're very giving, but only when their ego's in place and check. So let's write the word ego down, right? Yeah, sometimes they can be frustrating. Okay? So once again, you're just writing them down. You don't need to do green or red, just write them down, okay? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, next paper, next person, you're gonna look at their name. Whoops, look at their name, and then you're gonna write down what they are, right? Maybe this person's loving, maybe they're sweet, maybe they're needy, maybe they frustrate you, right? And you're going to write that down. So pause this video and I want you to finish filling out 5 to 10 things for each person. How would you describe this person? How are your emotions towards this person? Are you annoyed? Are you frustrated? Do they drive you absolutely crazy? Are they selfish? Are they awesome? Are they loving? Are they kind? Are they giving, right? So what is this person? When you think intuitively, do not try to figure this one out. Just go with it. Write down any of the words that come up. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. I want you to write it down. Cool? Pause the video. Come back when you're done. All right. Now that you've done all 10 of these, or all 8 of these, right? I'm going to erase mine. But now that you've done all of yours, it should be pretty clear to see how much negative and positive you saw in somebody. So what I want you to do is I want you to circle anything that reappeared, okay? Anything that appeared a lot, right? So if it was just once or twice, that's fine. But if it appeared, it was like a theme, right? Like a lot of people in your life are frustrating, okay? Frustrating, right? I want you to circle the word frustrating. If a lot of people seemed angry, like you wrote angry in multiple spots, right? I want you to circle angry. So I want you to circle the things that reappeared that are negative, not the positive ones, only the negative ones. So what reappeared for you that was negative? Look at your paper. What appeared for you? Some of the ones that came up recently with a client that I was working with was frustrating, selfish, annoying, emotional, and powerful, but it wasn't doing it, right? Like powerful, but not, because you're not doing it, right? And so those were some of the things that reappeared over this person's chart that we were doing, okay? So I want you guys to circle anything that came up, right? Now let's talk about this. This is the fun part. I'm known for kind of ripping the Band-Aid off sometimes. So here we go. Are you guys ready for this? Everything. Understand that every relationship that you have, everything that's in a relationship that you are part of is a mirror, you guys. It's a freaking mirror. So everything is a mirror. So what you see in somebody else, okay, if you have any emotion towards it at all, okay, if you have any emotion towards it at all, it is also in you. Okay. Now, if you can see, oh, somebody has blonde hair, that doesn't mean you have blonde hair, maybe you have brown hair. But if you see somebody and you're like, oh, this person's annoying, they're frustrating. And when you think about this person, these are the words that come up. There's something inside of you that is the exact same, okay? And so I want you to understand why this is a beautiful thing. This is amazing because it basically means that you decide who you pull in, okay? This means you decide who you pull in. Let me explain this really fast. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's say person number 7 is really frustrating you, right? Person number 7 is super frustrating to you. What you focus on grows, right? What you focus on grows. So here's the thing. If you're focused on person number 7 and all you want to do is be mad about person number 7, okay? Because they frustrated you. They did something wrong. They weren't very nice. Right? They did this, okay? What's going to happen is that's going to seep into your other relationships. At first, it will just be conversations. So-and-so was frustrating to me. They did this thing, they did that thing. It was frustrating, right? And then you tell somebody else, oh, that person was frustrating. It was kind of frustrating. And it starts to seep into your conversations, right? And then all of a sudden you notice that person number 1 also is frustrating. So then you're like, man, person number 1 is just really frustrating me, right? This person is super frustrating me, okay? All of a sudden what happens is over time, you start to have a lot of negative emotions and negative relationships. Negative emotions and negative relationships. That's what happens, right? So when you focus on something that's positive, right? This is why it's beautiful. You can have a lot of crappy relationships. Have you ever had those people in your life, friends, family members, clients for me sometimes, right? Like that all of their relationships seem like shit. Like literally every single one feels like it's falling apart. This is what's happening. They are focusing on the negative parts of the relationship, right? So we listed all the things that were in the relationship, positive and negative, okay? And what happens to somebody like this is that they have listed more negative than positives in almost every single section, okay? And there are some that aren't, and that's beautiful too. Like, I'll tell you guys this, when I'm in cycles of negative relationships and I'm pissed off at the world and I'm like, ah, right? My husband is the first person that comes out on, and he's also the first person I release it with. And that means that I start to see the beautiful in him. I start to see how amazing he is, and then it makes me go, oh my gosh, like, yeah, if he's amazing, other people can be amazing. So the reason this is so beautiful, you guys, is that if you have a chart that has a lot more negative words on it, right? Or even if it was 50-50, because let's be honest, you don't want to attract half crappy people and half good people in your life. You want all the beautiful relationships in your life. You want the relationships to feel abundant and flowing and not egotistical and selfish, right? That's how you want them to feel. So here's the thing. When something like this happens, it's because you focused more on the negative than the positive, okay? So what happens is you just pick one person. You pick one person and you say, you know what, this person is beautiful. Okay, and what does beautiful mean? They have a beautiful personality. Maybe that means that they are very nice and they're smart, okay? We appreciate them because they're smart, okay? All of a sudden, if we focus on that, and that's what we focus on. Instead of going and having these crappy conversations, instead of focusing on how everything's falling apart and nobody gets along with anybody, right? Like that's kind of how it starts to look, right? If you focus on this person and you say, I'm gonna focus on one thing, because what you focus on grows. So if you try to fix all of these relationships at one time, and you try to focus on all 8 of the relationships and making them all beautiful and amazing at one time, your brain's gonna get overwhelmed. Your brain is gonna go, oh my gosh, we're trying to fix so much stuff. There must be something wrong with us. And then your brain's gonna get tired and you're gonna blame them. Just kidding. There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with them. And I will tell you guys right now, in the relationship, you are the common denominator of all of these relationships. So if multiple people in your life are showing up frustrating, there's a reason for it. There's something that you're supposed to learn. And people always say, relationships are a mirror, but they don't understand. People don't understand what that means. Relationships are a mirror, so because they're annoyed, I'm annoyed? That's not true, right? What it means is you're focusing on their annoyedness, so you're attracting more of their annoyedness because somewhere deep inside of you, there's probably annoyedness with self, right? Not probably, there is. Okay, so let's talk about this. How do we fix it? We focus on the positive. So let's say we want to focus on this person right here. Boom. Focus on them. How beautiful, nice, and smart they are. Then you're having a conversation with person number 8. And you start to realize how beautiful, smart, and nice they are, right? And over time, you stop worrying about all of the red. It doesn't mean that people don't annoy you or they don't make you mad. It's actually not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It shows you where you're at, shows you where they're at, right? But over time, all of a sudden, your chart starts to change colors, right? And it doesn't all happen at once. It happens slowly because what you focus on grows, right? And so what you're focusing on is going to grow. So you can have relationships that are complainers, that are negative, or you can have relationships that are supportive and uplifting and inspiring, right? It's your choice. Are you going to focus on the person who is not supportive, or are you going to focus on the person who is supportive, right? Because you're putting it out in the world, I want to be supported, okay? So in people, what I know to be true, when you look at somebody and you're triggered, which by the way, top secret, and I'm just pulling the band-aid off, like I said, when you did this circle and you wrote down, and you paused the video and you wrote down all those things, those are all things that you see inside anybody. Any of them that were frustrating or annoying to you, or that like you have like a negative emotion towards, okay? They're triggers inside of you. Understand their triggers inside of you. So when I see that people are triggered, I know that one of 2 things has happened, okay? One, it means we have it in us, okay? We haven't dealt with it yet, right? It's inside of us, meaning if your word was frustrating, and a lot of people were frustrating on your chart, okay? This word comes up for me personally all the time. So super honest, you guys, everybody has all the emotions, okay? Everybody experiences them, and we work through them at different levels for different reasons, okay? So here's what I'll tell you. Frustrated comes up for me all the time, okay? And if frustration comes up for me, it is my job to then figure out why. What is going wrong with me? So if I'm looking at somebody and I'm frustrated with them, I'm triggered by them, okay? They are triggering me, or they are driving me crazy, okay? If you don't like the word triggered, was gonna say get over it, but you decide when you're gonna get over it. Maybe I'm triggering right now. Ask yourself why. Am I saying things that you wish you could say that you're not saying, right? Here's the deal. One of two things happens. One, it's inside of you, or two, you envy somebody else for having something that you don't have. So have you ever looked at somebody and been like, oh, so easy for her, so easy for that guy, so easy for that girl. They just have everything. I bet their life is just so perfect. Okay? That's a trigger. That's a trigger. That's you being triggered because they have something you wish you had. Okay? That is called envy. It's not a positive emotion. Okay? So understand that one, you either have it inside of you, or two, they have it and you wish you had it, which is ultimately you saying the first one, which is that they have something that you wish that you had, right? Which is you having a problem with yourself. Because if somebody has something that you wish you had, or there being a way you wish you can be, right? Example, somebody who swears drives you crazy, and that bugs you and it makes you mad. I bet there's a big part of you, not a little part of you, a big part of you that is frustrated because they are willing to speak their mind, because they have the ability to say whatever the hell they want to say, and it bugs you that you don't have that same thing. Now, does it mean that you want to swear? No, it does not mean you want to swear. It means they have something you wish you had, which is the freedom to speak. Understand? So, because sometimes I don't swear all the time, but before I swore and I actually used words and talked about how I actually felt and my emotions my passion that came across with swear words sometimes, right? People would get triggered by swear words. So I didn't think it was okay to swear. I was like, ooh, no, So then I would see speakers that would swear and I'd be like, man, that person, they really shouldn't swear. And I would get all judgmental. But I want you to understand the judgment came from a place of, I wish I had the freedom to do what they're doing, right? So when somebody has something nicer than you, or has a personality that you don't have, or whatever it is, right? And you start to judge them, it's because you wish you had it, which ultimately comes back to one, we haven't worked through it. It's pulling up things we haven't worked through. So it comes back to one of two things. One, you got to work through it, or two, it's something that they have, which you still got to work through it, right? So it's really just that one thing. Life is a mirror. Understand? Does that make sense? Okay, so it's a fun topic, guys. It's fun. Maybe you can be a little bit less feisty with your clients if you feel like they need that. But also if they need it more, then you go hardcore. You go hardcore. You are learning about relationships right now. Okay, so next part of your paper looks like this. So on this paper, you are going to write down the word that came up the most that was negative for you, because we're working on you right now. The best way to do work with your clients is to understand yourself. When you work on you, then you know how to help somebody else work on them. So do not just watch this video and say, I don't have any negative emotions, I'm perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have emotions, and actually negative emotions aren't a bad thing. They're a sign, right? They're a sign. Anger's not bad. Frustration's not bad. It's a sign. Something is coming up for you to work on. So write it down right here. What word came up the most for you? So once again, for me, it's always frustration. That one comes 90% of the time. So we're always constantly working for the next level of frustration in my house, for me at least. But you decide. So what came up the most? Put that word right there, okay? Next thing you're gonna do, pick one of these questions that makes the most sense. And I wrote this because I want you to be able to do this, whatever your emotion was, okay? And if your emotion was anger, it's a little bit different than frustration, right? And so you pick the one that makes sense. So for frustration, it would say, how is frustration showing up in me? That's option one. Option two would be, why do I feel frustrated towards myself? Right? And option three would be, how am I frustrated, right? So right here, there's three different options. Do not pick all three. This is not a journal. You don't have to journal every single piece to fix your life and to figure it out. It's really simple. You just have to be willing to go deep. So you just need a starting question. This question is not the most important. This is the most important, right? So what I want you to do is pick your question. Write the question right here. Whatever one makes the most sense verbiage-wise or in your brain, wording-wise, that's what you're going to put there, okay? So the question that I chose when doing this was, how am I frustrated with me? How am I frustrated with me, right? So then you write, how am I frustrated with me, okay? And then you're going to put the answer right below it. So you're literally just going to journal out the answer. That's all you're going to do. You're going to journal out the answer, right? And then you're going to ask yourself, why is that bad? So right here it says why. Why is that bad? Journal it out. Okay? And you're going to do this 5 times. Why is this bad? Why is that bad? Why is that bad? Why is that bad? So an example of this is for mine, when we were journaling this out, it's how am I frustrated? And it's it feels like I'm not showing up for my goals, right? Okay, why is that bad? Well, it's bad because what if I suck? What if I can't achieve it? Okay, why is that bad? Well, that would be bad because it means I'm fake. Okay, great. Why is that bad? And you continue to go down, right? Until you've done all 5 at least. And then 6, I wrote continue until resolved. Meaning if you just say, it means I'm gonna be alone, that could be resolved for some of you. But for some of you, you could even ask the question, well, why would being alone be bad? Why would that be bad, right? And so you're just gonna journal it out until it's all resolved. So pause this video if you haven't journaled your 5 yet, journal it out and then come back once you know why all of that would be bad. What's the last answer? All right. Okay, so you're back. Let's talk about this. Now you're gonna make a new decision. So a new decision is going to be made. So if your last statement, so I'll kind of tell you guys mine. Mine was I would choose not to exist. So this is the order that it went in. And I always want you guys to journal before I give you examples because whatever came up for you may or may not be different or the same as mine, right? And so when you're working with clients, don't ever project your story onto them because they are living a different story. Sometimes it's very similar, but it is different. And so now that you guys have journaled this, here's what came up for me, right? So feels like I'm not showing up for my goals. Why is that bad? Well, because then I would suck, right? Okay, why is that bad? Because it means I'd be fake. Okay, why would that bad? No one would like me. Okay, why would that be bad, right? Because I want friends. Okay, why is it bad to not have friends? Well, because then life would be boring, right? Why would that be bad? What is the point? What's the point of life if it's boring, right? Why would that be bad? Because then I would choose to not exist, right? So when I look at somebody and I see frustration, this person frustrates me. What's really happening in my life is I am inside having a mental breakdown that this person is not going, that it's going to lead through all this stuff and I'm going to be bored and I'm not going to hang out with them and therefore life is going to be boring. I'm going to be alone and I'm not going to want to exist anymore. Does that make sense? So it doesn't actually, like, our brains connect dots way faster than our subconsciously than our conscious does. And so you don't have to, it makes sense as you process it, but every time you look at somebody and go, ooh, they're angry, you might not connect it fast, right? You might need to come back and you might need to do this journal assignment and that's okay, right? That is okay. It is okay to come back into the assignment. So now what we do, bottom of here, is we make a new decision, right? So let's say my decision on this one is I love to live. Let's just do that. I love to live because I don't want to exist anymore, right? So the opposite of that for me is I want to live, right? Don't want to die, want to live, right? So I want to live. So right here in this blank spot, you would write, I want to live. And then I added an extra added piece here. And I love and accept all of me. And I love and accept all of me, okay? I think that's super important. It's something that's really valuable. It's been really valuable in my life to love and accept all of me. And so I would love it for you guys to write your statement plus, and I love and accept all of me. And what you're going to do is you're going to say this statement for 5 days in a row. How many days? 5 days. You can do it for more. You can do it for way more, right? The point here is that we are focusing on what we want more of and not what we want less of, okay? So next time I see somebody that's frustrating me, I understand. This person frustrates me because on some level, I don't want to exist. So what if, because maybe I'm frustrated that they exist, right? Once again, it's because you envy them for something, right? And you wish that you had something they have, or you have something inside of you that needs to get worked out because in all reality, the thing that they're doing wouldn't frustrate you if you didn't have something to work out, right? So some people are lazy and some people hate lazy people and some people just ignore lazy people. They're just like, whatever, I'm neutral. You do you, I'm doing me, okay? There's a massive difference in ignoring or being neutral towards, okay, and absolutely being, this person drives me crazy, right? There's a major difference in the two. So if you feel like somebody drives you crazy or a strong negative emotion, you've not worked through it. If you can recognize somebody for being lazy and you don't really care, you're like, well, that doesn't really affect me, right? You're neutral. There's no trigger to work through. Does that make sense? So, work through your trigger. I have a bonus assignment for you though. So, here's the fun part. Bonus assignment. When you did this paper, wrong paper. When you did this paper, you probably wrote positive and negative things on every single one, right? Every single one probably had positive and negative things. So what I want you to do now is I want you to look at all 8 of these people and I want you to have a conversation with them in the next 24 hours. This is bonus, you don't have to, but if you would like to get better and you would like to start healing your relationships, Pick one word from each of them that was positive and have a conversation or message that person and say the positive thing. Hey, I just wanted to thank you for being an inspiration in my life. Hey, I love that you're always loyal and that you're always surrounding me. Thank you so much, right? Have gratitude towards that person for one of the positive things. Okay. What I love about this is when you go to do this, it's going to pull up triggers for some of you. It's going to pull up massive triggers for some of you, meaning there might be a person or 3 or 5 on this list that you just feel like it's all red and there's one green thing that you can say about them. And they don't really deserve to hear the green thing because there are a lot of bad things, right? But they're in your life still, right? No, it means you haven't resolved it inside of you enough. So if you get to somebody and you're like, I am definitely not telling this person, I am grateful for them because they inspire me, because inspired is one word and I had lots of negative words, right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna pick each word and you're gonna go back and you're gonna do this worksheet for every single one until it's resolved enough for you to send them a positive message. If you have friends or family or people in your life that you cannot even have a positive conversation with because your ego is this big, thinking that it has to be better than them, that they've got to know that they're bad or they don't deserve to know that they're good, right? Then you are focusing on the wrong things. And you need to bring that ego down notches. And it's not going to come because you say, shove it down, ego, get down. No, it's going to come from doing the work and processing. Why am I frustrated? Why? Why am I frustrated? Why is that bad? Why is that bad? And just keep going until you get to the bottom and you can change your state of mind. Cool? Okay, so now that we got through that, I want to talk about judgment because I think a huge piece of this is people that we know, right? Like we know these people, that's super cool. We love them. They're beautiful. They're awesome, right? But let's talk about judgment for a second. What happens when you see somebody on the side of the road or at the store, or you see somebody that you kind of know, like maybe your acquaintances, like you've seen them at events, or maybe you've seen them at some networking meetings, or you've just seen them around, right? Maybe they work in your office with you, but like 4 doors down and you only see them every once in a while, right? And you find yourself judging them a lot. And once again, guys, I'm calling this out because relationships, they come from you. So there are 2 equal pieces in a relationship with people, okay? When it's a relationship with money, it is purely, if this is money, this is you, the relationship is based purely on how you feel about money, okay? But understand, when you have 2 people involved in one relationship, which is every relationship, you should never have, like this person should not have a say in your relationship with this person. That is not a fact, okay? You have 2 people and you guys have a relationship, okay? You both have a say and an opinion. And I don't know about you guys, but when somebody treats me like they like me, like they respect me, like they are inspired by me, I am more likely to show up in a way that is respectful. I am more likely to show up in a way that is inspiring, because here's what I will tell you guys. When you have the power, okay, when you are confident and you are in alignment, you have more power than when you are lost and frustrated and emotionally drained, okay, and upset and angry, okay? Let me say that again. You have more power to attract the things that you want, the people, the situations, the circumstances that you want, the results that you want in your life when you are aligned, okay? When you are aligned and you are working on you and you are happy and you are noticing the positive things, way more power than when you say, that thing sucks, that person sucks, and you come from a negative place, okay? And so we talked about, obviously, people that are around you, but what happens when you judge somebody? Why are you judging them, right? And I love this because there's a quote, I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's something like, when someone judges you, it says more about them than it does about you, right? Which is beautiful. If somebody judges you and your best friend's like, girl, it doesn't matter because what they're saying about you shows more about who they are than who you are, okay? We're like, hell yeah, that's a true statement. But when it comes to us, and when it comes to us talking crappy about people or being annoyed with people we don't even actually know, okay? Because when we know somebody, it pulls up our stuff and we're like, ooh, okay, and our egos get all weird, okay? When we don't know somebody, why would our ego come out? Why would it even matter, right? And I want you to remember, everything in life is a mirror, okay? It's all a mirror. I want you to understand everything that you do over here, okay? All the thoughts that you have, okay? All of your thoughts, your expectations, right? Your standards, okay? All of your beliefs, they come out in the people that show up in your life to mirror you. They come out. And so when you start to judge people around you oh, just get ready for a wave of horrible crap to come your way. Not because it's like a fun thing that you wanted, right? But because it's literally what you're thinking, it's what your expectations of yourself are. If somebody does something that you couldn't do, it's gonna make you mad because you are gonna feel like, well, how dare they do something that I would never be allowed to do? It's like, why do we want to control people? It doesn't make any sense, right, guys? So here's what I want you to do. Let's work through this one really fast together. I want you to make a list of 3 people that you have recently judged that are not your best friends, okay? That are not your love, your spouse, your significant other, that are not like your best person that you hang out with, okay? This is other people that you barely know, okay? Acquaintances and or complete strangers. Maybe you saw somebody at the store today and they have like a major wedgie up their butt in their whatever workout pants, and you were like judging them hardcore. Man, that girl should really pull her wedgie out because she looks like a crazy person, right? Lady at the store, right? So make a list of 3 people you have judged and then what you have judged them for. So let's say you're like, Sarah is ugly, and that's what it would look like. Name, judgment. Name, judgment. Name, judgment. Okay? Some of the things that I wrote down for people some of the things that people say, look at you guys, this is interesting. So swearing, talking about God, that's a really big one. Whether you're saying God doesn't exist or whether you're talking about how God does exist. People want to judge you for having an opinion that's different than yours, right? So there's that one. Trump and Biden, that's a huge one right now. Have you judged somebody recently because they thought differently than you? Write that one down, right? Especially if you don't even know them. Like, hi. I mean, if you do know them, it's not really a judgment, it's a self thing. But either way, it's really just a mirror. You know what I mean? It's you. So stop judging people. Okay, next one. Because somebody wears too much makeup. I hear this all the time. Like, girls get ready and people want to tell them how getting ready is wrong and how it's like catfishing or how it's like you don't love yourself. And there are all these judgments that come out around somebody getting ready. But equally, there are all these judgments that come around somebody not getting ready. Ooh, they don't get ready, right? They're weird. They always wear crappy clothes. They have like holes in their shoes, right? And so I wouldn't hang out with them, right? And so people want to judge people for getting too ready or not getting ready. Have you judged anybody for that recently? And then, like, have you ever called somebody an idiot? Like, because they didn't read your mind? That's a judgment, you guys. Like, if you're like, oh my God, that person's an idiot. They just got over too fast, right? Like, understand that name calling is a judgment, okay? You're literally judging this person, okay? And so what I want you to understand is this is all based on your thoughts, your expectations, your experiences, your beliefs, okay? It's all based on you. So if you are sending a message out into the world, you are stupid, you don't get ready, you look crazy, you like a different person than me in politics, you do this, you do that, you do this, do you know what's going to come back? What you put out comes back. So what's going to come back is a whole lot of negativity. This person's annoying, this person doesn't have respect, this person's very judgmental, this person's this person's that, and guess what you just built? A whole life full of negative people, full of negative situations. Do you ever feel like you're having a bad day and then more people show up just to make sure you have a bad day? Tell me I'm not the only one, right? Like when I'm having a bad day, it's like everything that could go wrong feels like it's going wrong, right? Because I'm focused on my bad day. I'm focused on all the people who are making my day bad. And so what shows up? More people to make my day bad. So understand that if you don't work on having positive, healthy relationships and working through your stuff when it comes up, this means no blaming. No blaming. No blaming. When you blame somebody, you're avoiding working through the thing that is coming up constantly in your life, right? And so what I want you to understand is that a judgment is a form. So work through your next judgment next time it comes up, right? Next time you find yourself calling Sarah ugly in your head or out loud, work through it. Where is this showing up in my life? Where do I think I'm ugly, right? Go back to this worksheet. How is that showing up in me, right? Am I afraid to be judged by other people? Am I afraid people think I'm ugly, right? And you start to do this, okay? And that person seems really weird and like, woo, right? Like, I've all had those weird friends, okay? I was the weird friend, right? But when you are like, oh my gosh, that person's weird, what you're really saying is I'm scared to be seen as weird, right? And so understand that your relationships are a mirror and you control all of them. So I remember, funny enough, when I would get so frustrated with Omar, and I would get so mad. When we first started our entrepreneurship journey, oh man, I was annoyed. I was so annoyed because here's the thing. In my brain, he controlled all of our cycles, okay? In my brain, he controlled all of our cycles. And if I had to, put some words down for how I viewed my husband, it was that he was lazy. It was that he wasn't motivated. It was that he was weak. Like I literally was like, get off do something, like you're acting like a weak person right now, okay? It's not how we are, okay? And I literally thought he was weak for a long time. And I thought he was frustrating. Like I was like, this person annoys me so bad. And so every single day I would wake up in our marriage because I thought he controlled all of our cycles and that he had bad cycles, right? Like what was really happening? I see my husband every day have bad cycles. I see us get a negative result. So then my brain goes, couldn't be me, it's gotta be him. He has bad cycles. I see all of these problems, right? Inside of him, I see all of these problems. And those problems are creating our marriage to suck. Right? Right? Am I right? Like that's true. If he has bad cycles, then our marriage is gonna suck. No. Because you guys, here's what I know. When I started to see him as sexy and smart, right? And like I saw him as like motivated and caring and giving, right? And I would see him as this like masculine person, okay? When I started to change how I saw him and I started to go into, okay, you know what? I love all these things about him and I focused on the good, what happened? Okay, a few things happened. One, I attracted more of that. He showed up as that person more often. No, it's not manipulation to point out the best parts of somebody. I don't know about you guys, but I like it when people point out the best parts of me. It makes me want to be that person more often, okay? So don't create somebody fake. Don't make somebody be something they're not. But when the person around you and you see them and you focus on the positive things, they're going to show up that way, okay? Also, you're going to show up that way. So when I would see him as smart, I started to see myself as smart, right? I would see him as caring. I started to see myself as caring because it's a mirror. It's a mirror, right? And so all of a sudden I understood that he wasn't controlling our cycles. I was controlling our cycles. And in his own brain, in his own reality, in his perception and his life and reality and real for him would be that he actually does control our cycles, okay? 100% accountability on both ends, you guys. We both control our cycles. But what I know is that when one of us shifts, it shifts the relationship. Let me say this again. When one of us shifts, it shifts the entire relationship. Do you know why that is powerful? Have you ever had a friend that you were annoyed with, that you felt like it was going to go off the deep end, that it was just going to end bad, it was kind of going like that, right? And you were getting frustrated, okay? And then all of a sudden you chose into that frustration and you chose to treat them like they were always annoying and you chose to not want to be around them. You chose all these things, right? What happens? There's a separation, the relationship ends. Not that it's bad or good, but if it ends that way, it's not very positive, right? Because it didn't end neutral, it probably created more triggers inside of you that you didn't work through. So now you solidified all the things that you didn't work through, right? And so what happens is when one person changes for the negative and the other person allows it, that's what happens. Then you guys split, right? But when you change for the positive, you could be on this journey of getting ready to split and you change for the positive, what happens? Your energy becomes more attractive, okay? Your energy becomes more attractive. This is beautiful because when your energy is attracted, it's positive, it's magnetic, it's radiant, right? People want to be around you. So if you're thinking negative thoughts about somebody, they can tell. Even if they don't consciously know, energetically, they can feel it, okay? Try this. Stare at somebody with negative, okay, don't stare at them with negative thoughts. Stare at them with positive thoughts, okay? Stare at somebody and have lots of positive thoughts about them. They're gonna feel it. They're gonna notice it. They're gonna get closer to you. They might hug you, right? They're gonna come talk to you if it's a complete stranger because yes, this works with strangers too, right? But have you ever walked in the room and you could tell somebody was talking crap about you? Or have you ever been sitting across from somebody and you're talking to them and you could tell they're really annoyed? And I'm not saying that we should create all these stories in our head, but I'm saying we can definitely tell when somebody's happy with us and when they're mad at us, right? Like take insecurities away, you can read people's energy, okay? We're human beings, we're built to understand. Like body language is a much bigger piece than the words that we use, okay? And so you can tell. And so when you think something, if it's negative, it shows up in your body language. If it's positive, it shows up in your body language. And I want you to understand that when you think positive thoughts and you focus on positive things, it will shift the entire dynamic of the relationship. So this brings me to the last worksheet for today during this video is this one right here. You guys, it's pretty simple, super simple. You decide who this is with. So you pick, who do you want this to be with? Like, what's the number one relationship that you would like to work on right now? Okay, you decide. Probably one of the 8 people you wrote down. What's one of the people that you would love to work with? So if I wrote Omar right here, Omar, okay? Then what you're gonna do is there's 8 sections. Write 8 words that describe that person, okay? You probably already have it done on this paper. Just copy that one person's stuff, right, over here, okay? So you have you and this person. And now I want you to copy all of the words that you feel. Positive, negative, doesn't matter. Then I want you to notice, is this filled with more negativity or positivity, okay? Just notice it. It doesn't really matter. Like I told you earlier, if it's a whole negative chart, you got to focus on one positive thing and that chart will turn green, okay? That chart will turn green, okay? Give it some time and let it turn green, okay? So just take notice. Is it more positive or negative, right? It'll tell you, am I closer to having a really great relationship with this person, or do I have a little bit more work to do, right? Now I want you to see all 8 words that you put around this person, and I want you to pick one positive word, and I want you to focus on that word for the next week. Focus on that word for the next week. Bonus assignment, you don't have to do it. It's not going to affect your certification, but here's what I'll tell you. If you can learn to have positive relationships in any situation, okay, any situation, to not come from a place of judgment or fear or lack of, okay, because that's what's happening. We come from not having something, or we come from a fear of having something happen to us, like death, or not having it, like a choice and free voice, right? And when that happens, we come from a place of lack, okay? And so when that happens, then our relationships are not healthy. So understand that you are the common denominator. When you build healthy relationships, you actually don't have room for unhealthy things. This is why your mom treats all of the kids in your family differently, because all of the kids will stand up for different things, right? As the only girl in my family, that was an excuse for a long time. Oh, she just gets whatever she wants because she's the only girl. But what I want you to understand is I was unwilling to settle for what I didn't want. I just was. So people treated me like that. So if you show up as the person who does what you want to do, right? Regardless of, I'm always respectful and I don't hurt people, but I do what I want to do, right? If you show up as that person, then people start to know, oh, she's Elisa. She's just going to do her own thing. Like, I don't got to worry about it. She's not stressed about you. She's just worried about her. Okay? She wants to do what she wants. She's here to live life, right? She's just living. And they start to be like, it's not even a big deal. It's her, right? Yeah. So you get to be you. You get to work on you and you get to do what you want to do. Don't come from a place of lack. Come from a place of love. Don't come from a place of dark and annoyed. Come from a place of acceptance and support, right? Because remember, when I shift, we shift. When I shift, me and Omar shift. When I shift, me and my clients shift, okay? When I shift, it starts with me. So come back to I. It starts with me. Where is this coming up for me? Where is this my problem? Where am I having this show up in my life, right? So focus on you. Focus on a positive relationship. What do you want to focus on? What do you want to build? Work through whatever came up for you. Make sure that you complete this. Do your statement for 5 days. And you guys, seriously, watch as your relationships get better. And once again, when you have amazing relationships, all of a sudden, opportunities come towards you. I am a huge believer. It is not what you know and it is not who you know. It is a combination of both, okay? If you know a lot of information, but don't know anybody and don't have anybody around you, you haven't built those positive relationships, guess what? It's hard to create opportunities because you have to create them yourself, right? And you still need people, so it's basically impossible, right? And equally, if you have a great relationship with a lot of people and you don't know squat, that's cool, they love you, but they're not collaborating with you, right? So you need to, it's a combination of both, but relationships is 50% of the equation. So make sure that you work on your relationship with self, you work on your relationship with other people. I love you all and I will see you in the next video.